October 2025. A few next gens were sent to Zerega. Those were 4520 from Stengel and 4676 and 4699 from Manhattanville. 2290 from Queens Village was also sent there for repairs. LFSAs 1266 and 5331 were removed from Eastchester scrap and sent to Zerega. Maybe they might get fixed up. 2025 new Flyer XHE40 5217 was delivered to Zerega on October 28th, and man, it looks fantastic. I love the new Clean Energy Bus font. I love the fact that it looks like an XN40, and that number range is so cool. It reminds me of a Quill RTS, the ones that used to run on the M66 and M72. This is one of two XHE40s that was promised to Gun Hill Depot years ago. We've been awaiting these buses since November 17, 2022, nearly 3 years. It also confirms the numerical confinement of the anticipated 187 XE40 order, that being from 5030 to 5216, and it also means that the other XHE40 will be numbered 5218. Both will likely still end up going to Gun Hill as of the time of me recording this. It's very interesting how we had LFSE Pluses and XHE40s randomly interrupt the flow of XE40 numbers. 2025 new Flyer XE40s 5031 to 5049 were confirmed to be built on October 17th, awaiting delivery to Gun Hill. As you've seen over the last few recaps, several electrics have either had to be sent back to Nebra for repairs or haven't run in months, like 5603 for instance. The reason for that was a massive 680 bus recall by New Flyer where they had to fix up the batteries. That also affected 37 buses that were ready to be delivered. The electrics still need a lot more time to perfect themselves before their feet are fully solidified underneath them. But Schittler's approach of attempting to sabotage electric bus production isn't the proper way to go either. He's just a base fossil fumer. I wouldn't worry about him. 2025 New Flyer XD60 6293 was spotted in Pennsylvania on October 16th, arrived to Ronkonkoma Nebra facility on October 21st, and was delivered to Gun Hill on October 31st, right behind 6292, which was delivered on October 30th. By the end of October, Gun Hill had three 2025 XD60s, 6289 and 6292 to 93, 6290 to 91 were at Zerega as of October 10th. Gun Hill and Manhattanville had an LFS hybrid swap. Manhattanville got 9705 and 9794 from Gun Hill, while Gun Hill got 9683 from Quill and 9841, 9860, and 9883 from Manhattanville. Gun Hill now has 31 LFS HEVs, Kingsbridge has 31, Quill has 77, Manhattanville has 135, and Tuskegee has 17. How are we still being screwed by Gun Hill in a darn trade deal? This is crazy. Kingsbridge used 9560 as a loan on October 17th, then XDE40's 9462 and 9560 on October 27th. West Farms used XDE40's 9439 and 9609 and LFS Hybrid 9637 as loans on October 17th. All the aforementioned loans ran on the following routes shown here. Several Quill XD40s such as 7568, 7575, 89, and 7609, as well as some remaining Manhattanville XDE40s, received ABLE cameras, such as 9436 to 37 and 9600. 9434 didn't have them yet as of October 11th. It might have gotten them now. LFS Hybrid 9888 and several Kingsbridge Nova LFSAs, XN40s from Gleason, and other units are also getting the ABLE cameras now. Speaking of Gleason, 2015 XD40, 7176 and 7561 were loaned to Gleason routes on October 29th, running on the B37 and B8 respectively. At Stengel, LED NextGen 4360 was retired, leaving two LED NextGens active, those being 4427 of Stengel and 4675 of Manhattanville. NextGens 4388 and 4566 were transferred to Manhattanville, raising the Ville's total to 18 NextGens and bringing Stengel down to 46. The extra NextGens helped Manhattanville send more LFS hybrids to Gun Hill. XD40 7437 from Stengel and 7492 with 8636 from Gun Hill were sent to Manhattanville for repairs. Flatbush 3rd Gen 7037, which was situated at Fresh Pond since September 24th, ran on the B54 and B26 on October 14th and on the B13 on October 15th, temporarily rekindling the Orion era at Fresh Pond. For the first time since January 2025, and allowing the first Orion to run there since June, as alone. 7011 was sent to Fresh Pond for maintenance on October 23rd. As a reminder of when the last Orions ran on Fresh Pond routes, they took place with 4104 on January 16th on the B20, and on June 9th with 4478 on the B54 and 4541 on the B52. So Orions had not touched any Fresh Pond routes since June 9th, and have not officially been on Fresh Pond routes since January 16th. On October 13th, a collision occurred between two LFSs on the Q27 rush route. 2015 LFS 8426 hit 2022 Nova LFS Conehead 8764 from behind around 9 a.m. due to brake failure on 8426's part. 8764 sustained minimal damage, but 8426 sustained severe front end damage and was immediately sent to Eastchester scrap. Yukon received 2025 Prevosts 1656 to 1669, 14 more units, bringing their total to 20 2025 Prevosts. They got their last few units on October 14th. Thanks to the new Prevosts, they were able to send 2015 to 16 Prevosts, 2741 to 45 and 2747 to 48 to Charleston, which helped fill the void which the now transferred 2013 MCIs left at the depot. Charleston received its first 2025 Prevost 1670 on October 7th. Then they received 1671 to 74, 1676, 78 to 79, 1682, and 1684 to 1686, 11 more units from October 22nd to October 30th, bringing them up to 12 new Prevosts by the end of October. Castleton got their second round of Prevosts beginning on October 24th, with 1693 being their first unit to arrive since 1634 on September 23rd. They received 1690 to 1698 and 1701 before October came to a close. 1701 arrived on October 30th, marking the first 1700 series Prevost to arrive. We haven't seen 1700s in the MTA since the Orion 7 Next Gens, which Long Island Bus used to have. Although most of the Prevosts between 1630 to 1652 came with MTA Bus decals, newer units are arriving with New York City Transit Bus decals now instead. 1634 was one of the first to have the New York City Bus logos, along with 1658 and newer units above that. 2025 Prevost 1675 to 1794 were confirmed to be built and awaiting delivery at Prevost New Jersey plant as of October 24th. 62 2025 Prevosts were now on MTA property by the end of October, and here were the newly delivered 2025 Prevosts by the end of October. Castleton had 30, Yukon had 20, and Charleston had 12. The assignment for the 131 option order Prevosts was initially speculated to be 1630 to 1679 to Castleton, 1680 to 1729 to Yukon, and 1730 to 1760 to Charleston. Obviously, that is no longer the case, and we might not even be dealing with the 131 option as per the fact that up to 1794 is built. I don't know what order we're dealing with, the 250 base or the 131 option. It's very confusing right now. Of course, as seen with the delivery of the 2023 to 2024 XE40s, the MTA struggles to properly assign buses, so please stay on their case with the 187 XE40s and the future XD60s coming in. Please, make sure they deliver these things correctly. So now the assignment has changed once again to a rotation, like the 2022 Coneheads. Castleton with 1630 to 1649 and 1690 plus, Yukon with 1650 to 1669, and Charleston with 1670 to 1689. Each depot appears to get 20 each in a rotation. It is a rotational delivery like the New York City Transit Coneheads, but at least the fleets appear to be in chunks instead of the chaotic, out-of-order assignments that the Coneheads received. They could have delivered them in order, but they elected to mess it up for some reason. Anyways, Prevost 2672 went from Castleton to Ulmer Park, adding on to the 9 Prevosts already sent from Staten Island to Ulmer, and the 7 Prevosts given to Ulmer Park from MTA Bus. Now Ulmer Park has 17 2015 to 16 Prevosts, when they used to exclusively have 2012 Prevosts. Here were the Ulmer Park transfers from Staten Island and Eastchester. And as you'll see in the November update, not a recap, that Ulmer Park began retiring 2012 Prevosts as a result. Wow, I have lived on this planet too long. Now we're starting to see freaking 2012 Prevosts die. More 2021 Prevosts returned to MTA Bus. 1396, 1402, and 1404 went from Charleston back to Eastchester, while 1458, 62, 67, 72 to 73, 1481, 83, 85, and 87 returned from Charleston to Yonkers. Charleston went from 12 stolen Prevosts to none. Their last four were 1462, 67, 81, and 85. The last one to leave was 1481, which returned to Yonkers on October 23rd. Its last run in Staten Island took place on October 22nd on the Sim 4. They had 43 blue and gold Prevosts by mid-October and 50 blue and gold Prevosts by the end of October. College Point used 2023 Nova LFS Coneheads, 8984, 92, 98, and 9002 from Baisley Park as loans. They also used 2015 XD40s, 7439, 61, 63, and 74 from LaGuardia as loans. C40LF 221 wasn't actually retired. It was repaired from its February 24th accident and returned to service on October 3rd on the Q28. MCI 2217 was retired at College Point on October 10th and never got to see service at the depot. It was used for parts to keep the other MCIs running. Meanwhile, 2205 and X New Jersey Transit MCI was given College Point stickers. 2196 was the first MCI to enter service out of College Point, doing so on September 23, 2025 on the QM2, the beginning of a unique new era for the depot. 2223 entered service on October 10th on the QM2, and 2224 entered service on October 3rd on the QM7. So College Point has 4 active MCI D4500CTs now, 2 of which were ex-New Jersey Transit. After nearly 2 years of being in service, Eastchester Depot's 2023 new Flyer XHE40s began receiving bike racks. 9387 was the first one to be racked up as of September 26th. Don't quote that. 9310, 9355, 6274, and 9380 were also racked up in October. LaGuardia XD60, 6267 returned to service after a year of repairs. Finally, LaGuardia fixed up several more buses, namely 6 LFSs from Queens Village, 2 NextGens, and 3 XD60s for Stengel, not for service, and a few buses from Staten Island. LFS 8233 was shifted from Castleton to Charleston after being fixed up at MTA Bus. That's all I have for October. Compared to prior months, this was a more quiet month for transit, but not for our collective lives. Chaos broke loose in Washington, with the government being shut down for a month, Schittler attempting to subvert access to health care, giving a $40 billion bailout to Argentina while Americans suffer, trying to block emergency funds for SNAP, and demolishing the East Wing to build an unnecessary $350 million ballroom. I smell some serious money laundering here. Meanwhile, in New York, MTA operations continued apace and remained relatively calm. The most notable portions of the month were the Prevost, XD60, and XHE40 deliveries. Alright, on to November now. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for more content.